At this time, we will now go to taking testimony. And the first person I have on the agenda is Commissioner. I'd like to switch that. I'd like to start with the constitutional officer, Auditor Otto, if you're in the room. Welcome to the committee. And I know you do this so much, but I'll just repeat it anyway. State your name and title for the record.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Rebecca Otto, the State Auditor. Thank you for allowing me to testify this morning. So legal counsel did point out that there's a brand new provision in this bill that was never heard in any policy committee. This is some of what happened in 2015 as well. And it's not what the founders of our state ever contemplated, that we would be passing policy in that way with not understanding what it does or doesn't do. So I want to make a few comments on the level of cuts to a few of the divisions to make sure that the committee understands exactly what it's going to mean for the people of Minnesota and oversight of $20 billion per year. The constitutional division is taking a 21% cut. And also, by the way, there's a rider on our language that says we cannot make any divisional transfers, which has always been part of active management of any state government or office in terms of your workflow and making sure you get your work done. So that division supports my salary, my overhead, and the boards that I serve on by law. It is underfunded, and so you are not funding the state auditor, which is unconstitutional. The legal SI division is taking 21% and a 21% cut as well. And so that's where we do our special investigations on behalf of the people. That's where local governments are required to report to our office if they found evidence of theft or misuse of public funds by thousands of units of local government. That's also where data requests come out of, which Representative Anderson is very familiar with, as she's made many to our office. It's also where we support all the divisions within the office. Everything we do is based in law, so tax increment finance, and the other divisions who need the support. We won't be able to do that work because we'll have almost no staff left in that division. We have tiny divisions. We also do training for the League of Minnesota Cities on legal compliance, as well as the counties, issues and updates, making sure that their contracting and bidding complies with the laws. Sometimes there's new case law that they need to be aware of when carrying out their work. And that will be greatly diminished as well. So in terms of being a good government state, we can kiss that goodbye. Government Information Division gets a 21% cut. It's a tiny division, and we have extraordinarily professional staff in all these divisions. They're working with over 1,700 townships, 853 cities, and over 600 special districts, as well as the counties. And they assist them in with their preparing of financial statements, filling out our financial reporting forms, answering all kinds of questions, supporting the small city and township accounting system, which is software that our office developed in conjunction with the townships and small cities, which they paid a user fee for, which we train and support on. The ability to do that is going to be extraordinarily diminished. And we also certify for local government aid in that division. I can tell you what I know what it means, and for those of you that have a lot of townships or small cities, this is going to have a great impact on their ability to get their work done. It will impact the quality of financial records in the state of Minnesota, and we may not be able to fulfill our promise with CTAS, which I know that the Township Association may be concerned about as well, because we work in cooperation with them as well as the league. Our OPM division is getting a 21% cut, so that's basically human resources to make sure we have staff in our divisions and dealing with any other HR issues, technology, finance, and IT. If that goes, then I'm not sure how we get our work done because we're pretty much technology-based now. Local governments report through a portal, and it's not paper anymore. There's very few that need to work from paper. And so I'm not quite sure, again, how we actually function because we provide all of the financial data, audited financial and reviewed data on local governments for you to use, for state agencies to use, for the feds to use. And how we will continue to get that done is not possible, even though there's a provision in this bill that says that we are required to divert whatever we're doing to making sure we provide the service. If we don't have the people, we simply cannot provide the service. I also want to very clearly state that there are provisions in this bill that attempt to interfere in the judicial process, which is clearly unconstitutional. It's my duty and obligation to go to the courts. when a law that is passed is unconstitutional. And the 2015 law is currently in the Court of Appeals. We expect a decision in early June. But there's provisions in this bill that tie my hands in terms of any kind of appeal going forward, which is interfering in the judicial process, which is part of our Constitution. And it also limits my ability to pay legal fees. It requires us to pay the legal fees of those that we are in active litigation, which is unheard of and unconstitutional. So with that being said, I take my oath very seriously. And that's why I sued on the 2015 county audit law. And I am letting you know that you have many unconstitutional provisions in this bill regarding a constitutional office that belongs to the people of Minnesota. And I will carry out my duty as a constitutional officer if I am forced, even if you're tying my hands in terms of further litigation, appeals. But you're doing this in the face and in front of the Court of Appeals, who's making a decision. There's 3 separate branches of government for a reason. We're co-equal, Madam Chair. And I know that you served as a constitutional officer. There's absolutely no reason for these cuts. There's no reasons for these policies. And there's no reason to change a statute on the fly without having held hearings to understand what it means and the implications for the reliability of financial statements of our local governments who issue bonds. The financial markets rely on these financial statements to be fairly stated. We have professionals within our office that make sure that work happens. And if we want to have good government going forward in the state of Minnesota and the financial markets to actually respect what we issue and not have the feds coming in and doing a lot of additional work, I ask that you respect this constitutional office and allow us to continue to carry out the work of being the watchdog on behalf of the taxpayers of over $20 billion spent per year. Thank you.
Thank you, Auditor Otto, for your comments. The next testifier on the list is Commissioner Baden. Pardon? Okay, sorry. Representative Nash, do you have a question?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did of the auditor, if she's willing to come back up and to the testifier's table.
Auditor Otto, would you mind coming back for, there you are, to answer the question? Representative Nash.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And to the auditor, regarding the transfer from divisions that you object to, can you tell us if you made transfers from any of your divisions to the tune of any amount of spending to cover your lawsuits?
Auditor Otto.
Madam Chair, Representative Nash, you've asked me this question about 30 times now in committee. A normal part of management is that you are able to manage the funds that are appropriated to you for the work that you're required to get done. And I'm not sure if you have experience in management, but this is what we do. And this is how government goes. And you have to allow the executive branch to carry out their work and duty. They answer to the people of Minnesota if they haven't done their work adequately. You know that I have used very precious resources from my office. I've been extraordinarily transparent about it to the public and released all of my invoices as they've come forward after they've been redacted for non-public information. I would never have engaged in this lawsuit had there not been an unconstitutional act carried out by the legislature, which I testified on in the middle of the night when it happened.
Well, Madam Chair.
Representative Nash.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to let the whether I've managed question go. I do run my own company and have quite a few employees, but you know the amount that you transferred was $100,000 out of your pension division that you used to pay your lawsuit. And you know, you ask, why are we doing this? And you make it sound as if we're capricious in doing so. Well, there's a reason that we're doing that, so that you don't deprive people who should be getting audits to use money within your office to pay for a lawsuit. So, you know, I just wanted to point out to those that are here or watching that you know, it was done so for a reason. So, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Representative Nash. On that theme, question for you, Auditor
Madam
Otto.
Chair, can I please respond to something that he just said?
Sure.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Representative
Auditor Otto,
Nash.
please.
All of our work has been done. Nobody was deprived of services. You can ask any volunteer fire relief that we have to work with and certify and train and educate to help them be successful with public funds. And they receive great service from our office. You can go back. I know that you all have been going into the state accounting system trying to find some sort of a scandal. And we've made transfers I've been in this office 11 years. This is not the first time transfers have occurred. This is a normal part of management. Covering these legal fees has been extraordinarily difficult, but we've gotten our work done. And so it's not a scandal. That's what happens. But if you lock down all of the executive branch to say that no transfers can be made within office in order to carry out our work, that's micromanagement of the executive branch. And that's not appropriate.
Representative Nash.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the interest of time, I'll just let this go, but just wanted to point out to those at home that it was done with a reason, and it was very deliberate, and I think we're protecting the taxpayers' money.
Thank you, Representative Nash. Auditor Otto, generally, or not generally, but as a matter of record, according to state law, the Attorney General is the law office for constitutional officers. And so have you used the Attorney General's office as your attorney to represent you in what you are stating you think is a constitutional issue? Then it would seem that the Attorney General office would be your attorney. Could you respond to that?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair.
Auditor Otto.
I actually went to the Attorney General when I was going to file this lawsuit. I have the letter. I know Representative Anderson has it because of her data requests. And I requested from the Attorney General to represent the office in this litigation. I received a letter back, which I've got a copy of as well that I'm happy to provide you, that says that we had to follow the precedent of Mattson, and that was Mattson v. Kudrowski. And that was that we had to go out and hire our own private firm and use our own funds to pay for this litigation. And that we should make sure that we negotiate a discount on behalf of the taxpayers, which we did. And the firm that we are working with gave us a discount, and they've been so that happened. Would I have preferred something different? Sure, but I went to the Attorney General. I was not able to get representation. She has her own duty to the people and, is an attorney and knows what she can or cannot do. She did not represent us, so we were required to work with a firm.
Thank you.